All right, so thanks for hopping into another Rapsodo webinar. My name is Matt Cochran. I'm filling in for Brian Page, who usually hosts these things. But today we're super excited for the guest that we have coming in. He's a former MLB player. He's just opened up his new facility, and I think we can add singer-songwriter to that list. So, yeah, Chase Darno, thanks for joining us today.
No, thanks for having me. Thanks for the nice intro. It's been a while since I've written anything new. I still have some guitars hanging around the house, and I play for the kids. I have one right here. But
No,
no, man, happy to be here.
yeah, no Bonnaroo invites lately.
No, that was a wild season in 2016. I mean, I was playing Major League Baseball, living with my band. I mean, how many players can say they've done that? It was wild, and our music. We liked our music, and I'm glad that other people did too. And we got really lucky, and we were fortunate enough to get some great opportunities thrown our way that just happened to fall on off days, right? Because the baseball schedule's grueling. Like, how do you really perform during the season? But Bonnaroo happened to be during All-Star break. It was perfect.
Lined up perfect. Yeah, love it. So I guess, yeah, just to kick us off, let's start with what you're doing with Darno Athletics and the new facility you opened. Just tell us a little bit about that, and the role baseballism plays, and what you guys are doing over there.
Okay. Gosh. And years ago, Travis and I always thought it'd be amazing to have a baseball facility where we grew up here in Long Beach, California. It was just an idea at the time, but a couple years ago, we got a little more serious about it. I stopped playing ball. I had time when we were both playing baseball. It's so consuming. You don't have that time to do that because it takes a lot of work to get a business up and running. I've learned, right? But it's amazing. I mean, we have this baseball facility in the community, and we partnered with Baseballism, who's a huge brand. We love what they stand for. Everything they do is for the love of the game, and everything that they've grown all happened organically. They specialize in their apparel, right, and merch, but like I said, we love everything they stand for. And they wanted to get in the development world, but they still wanted to stay in their lane at the same time. So naturally, they needed to look for somebody that brought that baseball pedigree to the table. And so, when they came across two brothers that played in Major League Baseball, and one of them stopped playing and had the time to do it, right? Just perfect partnership. Like, we're really happy with it. We had our grand opening January 24th. It's a 10,000 square foot building here, and let's see, we have 6 offices. We have a barber shop here. It's part of the culture, right? Like, think about it. Like, in pro ball, every baseball team has somebody that cuts hair on the road. As soon as I got drafted in 2008, there's a guy named Silvio Pena that was cutting everybody's hair. And whenever we'd go on the road, he'd say, "Hey guys, I'm in room 102 if you want to get your hair cut," and we'd all tip him. And it was like that with every team that I was on all the way through the big leagues. So Travis and I thought it'd be really cool to have a barbershop in the facility. So we have a barbershop. We have a place where players can do performance training, and we have team training, membership training, all that. It's been a blast. The community's received it well, and we're really happy with how it's going.
And what are like the age ranges that you guys are teaching over there? All over?
I'd say 8 through pro. I mean, the majority of our players range from 8 to 18 years old. Yeah, that's the bulk right there. I mean, we have different programs for each one. Our high school players come later in the evening. For them, we have a membership program where they come between 8 and 10. We have all of our instructors there to help them. And we have more individual skills classes during the day, catching, hitting, fielding, bat speed program, pitching velo program, live AVs. And our youth players and youth teams come in earlier in the day.
And so you're a Rapsodo partner. You have a Pro 3.0 out at the facility. We'll get into that too in a second. But can you talk about just like the approach that you guys take to player development at your facility?
It's a holistic approach. Like, we want this place to be a one-stop shop, right? Nowadays, everything has gotten very specialized, very competitive. A lot of parents feel like they need to bring their players to all the tournaments, and it's great. I think it's important for players to get out there, but we're all about development. Somebody gave me the advice, like, Chase, you don't want to run a travel organization and make lineups because you can't make everybody happy. You just can't. If you have 12, 13, 14 guys on a team, only 9 guys can get on that field. And I was really passionate about practicing and development myself. Every baseball player at the highest level is, right? Like we obsess over it, like our routine. And so now I'm in a position to where we just develop. We don't make lineups. We partner with teams, have them come here, and we become an extension of their development, and we can help them with their hitting, fielding, pitching, you name it. We meet players where they're at, right? Not everybody is a superstar right out the gate. Not everybody is advanced. Some players need more help than others. And so it's really important to, when you're assessing a player, to see where they are and meet them there, then help them grow. There are certain foundational principles in every aspect of the game, pitching, fielding, hitting, that players need to get good at. And so we find a way, we have a recipe to make it fun, right? Nowadays, a lot of players want to get better really fast, right? That they want that instant gratification. Social media has naturally built kids into this, right? And it takes time to become good. You have to want to do the work every single day. Like I can't tell you how many times I'd go in my backyard and just throw a tennis ball against my garage door. Luckily, my neighbors didn't want to kill me, but those were reps. I got a ton of reps doing that. And we want to provide a place here for players to come in and want to get the reps in. So we follow a recipe when we do our group training. We demo, then we explain the drill more in depth, and then we demo it again, and then we take the players through the drill. And then, sometimes we'll subdivide them and put more advanced players on one side of the cage. Our cages are pretty big, so we can do a drill and we can subdivide a cage into 2 and put them in 2 different groups so that we can push all the players individually. We have a really good player to coach ratio, usually at least a 6-to-1 player to coach ratio at worst. Oftentimes there are 2 players in there with an instructor. But at the end of that drill, we always gamify it. Right, so they get the demo from a former pro player or a former D1 guy that can demonstrate it properly, because demonstrating is very important. Young players that don't understand what we're talking about just goes over their head, and they default to what they're watching you do. Right, I did that as a kid. I saw a lot of my coaches would tell me to do something, and they'd explain to me what to do, and it would go over my head. I didn't fully understand it, and then they demoed afterwards, and I'm watching him be like, okay, I'll do that. That's what he's trying to tell. That's what he's trying to get me to do. And I would copy it. And now looking back, and no disrespect to the coaches that I had in the past, because they all helped me get to where I got, but some of their demonstrations weren't accurate. It wasn't what it was supposed to look like. So our guys can demo things pretty well, and that's really important to us. And then the gamification at the end just makes it fun, makes it a competition, and it brings them alive. So that's our recipe for team training that we like to do. We have 5 cages. We have 8,000 square feet of turf space that can be broken up. All of our cages are 15 feet wide by 60 feet, and we have 1 cage that's 110 feet by 20 feet, where we do some speed training as well. It's that question you asked, right? Like our approach to developing players, it takes a while to unpack. So I know I've been talking for a little bit, but I'll pause there and I'll just stop.
No, yeah, I was going to say, I know it's a loaded question, but you handled it great. I appreciate kind of the input there, and taking that not one size fits all approach, kind of making that customized, individualized, training program, because, every baseball player is different. So we're all working on different things. So love that. Yeah. So you guys have the Pro 3.0 in your facility. How's that addition been to kind of your player development program?
Amazing, especially with the older players. The older players love using it. They're really into the metrics naturally, right? Older players, they want to know their spin rate. They want to know the velo. Love the fact that it tracks the pitch all the way to contact so that the hitters can see where they hit the ball. Like being able to see where you hit it depth-wise is really important, because a lot of players that tend to roll over and are pushy have a contact point that's further out in front. And they're the ones that roll over a lot. So we can get really technical with guys and still in a competitive environment, right? Like when we have our live ABs, whether we're with the pro, college, or high school players, it's a space saver. right? They all like it because like with other units that have to go behind the pitcher, behind the catcher, and they need to communicate to each other, you need more space for that. But in a facility, even though we're a larger facility, it's still we want to take advantage of the space that we have. So the fact that we can put it in between the catcher and the pitcher is huge. And we just have a line that we attach our iPad to a big screen TV so that everybody in the area can see it. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. Our players get after it, and you know it's fun when a guy hits a ball and you're waiting to find out. Okay, is that a home run or is that a triple? Like what was that? And sometimes it's fly ball to left, sometimes it's a homer. But it's great that you can gamify it as well.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Um, and with the Pro 3.0, you kind of mentioned a bunch of different things from like live on live, how you guys use it, the gamification. What would you say is like one of the number one features that, the players enjoy, that you enjoy? What's used the most, you think?
We use it for live more than anything. Yep, yep. It's one of the first things that we do. It's like tradition now. Like some guys are like, oh, I'll set it up. Like they're no, our instructors all set it up, and it's just how we start the day. Like right when they start coming up, they warm up. The Rapsodo 3.0 unit's coming out, and then we have our mark. We have it like taped off to where it goes, and we put it down right there, and then so yeah, we go live on live a lot, like more than anything else.
Yeah, no, I've seen on your Instagram. It's great to watch kind of that competition that's in the cage. Like you said, increases the competition, gets everyone fired up. So that's always fun to watch. Any like key metrics that let's focus on the hitting side. What Any key metrics that you get focus on specifically, like spin rates, spin direction? How do you guys incorporate that?
Spin rate and spin, like, it's amazing that that unit can actually pick that stuff up for both a hitter and a pitcher. But the exit velo and launch angle are probably two things that we like, and also the fact that it'll let you know if you got a hit or if you're out, because then we have an umpire here in the stands. That Rapsodo unit's the umpire, right? That's the official on the premises. But yeah, it's good because when a player comes in, and let's say we have it set up and a player is coming in for the first time and we just want to track his metrics. His top exit velo that day might be 80, right? And then a month, 2 months later, we bust it out again, using it to accurately see that his exit velos increased by 6 miles an hour, that he's consistently getting a launch angle that's in between the 10 and 30 degrees, so he's driving the ball properly. Like, it's nice being able to see that and have the data to show like, hey, like, this is proof that you have improved over time. So it's great for that.
Yeah, so you kind of mentioned like your secret recipe that you guys have, and I don't want to spoil the secret recipe, but with Pro 3.0 and Rapsodo products, one of the first things that people usually do is kind of create that baseline for players. Is that something that you do just to kind of see where they are when they first come in and be able to track that progress?
Yeah, yeah, we're really getting into that now. We're a new facility. We just opened up in January, and we're creating more advanced programming. And the Rapsodo unit is going to allow us to do that on a consistent basis. We haven't implemented it yet. We've done it with select players to track their progress, but for this high-end program that we have, every player is going to use it, and we're going to have everybody go through there and have them hit off of it and get all their metrics that we can document and save to track their progress over time.
Um, Focusing on more the youth level in baseball, are any like common hitting mistakes that you see with younger players? I know that's kind of another loaded question, but
Yeah, there are quite a few of them actually, but the one that sticks out to me the most is having a proper connection to the ground when they get in a rotation. Right, major league hitters, what kids see on TV, they see a player lift up their foot, right? They load, stride, and then swing, and so they can't help but to think that the swing begins with that stride, because it does for most players. But what they don't understand is that that is just a timing mechanism. The way we bring up our leg is not a source of power. It is extremely important that players have both feet on the ground before their body starts to get into rotation. And what I see in all youth hitters, right, 95% of them, and even high school players too, like it's very common in high school and they're pushy, is that they're already starting to bring their hands down as their foot is approaching the ground instead of getting grounded and then getting into rotation, right? Like try swinging a bat and generating rotational force on one foot. That's what you're trying to do. And so what I tell guys is, if your hands are here, when your left foot gets down, right, you might as well just start your swing from right here, because that's what you got. Like you want to have your hands back still by the time that foot gets down, so that you can use your body properly and let the kinematic sequence do its thing, and then let your hands get picked up last. So
Yeah, I think
yeah,
I was gonna say, like, you see like Jackson Holiday do like that praying mantis kind of 1 foot like swing where he's floating that front foot and then he kind of puts it down. So kind of similar to what you're saying is get both those feet on the ground before you start rotating, right?
yeah, that's one of my favorite drills. I call it the flamingo drill. Praying mantis is way cooler. Like, that's what I'm gonna call it from now on.
I made it up.
I actually haven't seen him do that drill. I know he's been getting a lot of attention lately, but that's good to know. I didn't know that he does that on a consistent basis. Is that one of his core drills that he does?
I'll when we did a shoot with the Baseball Bat Bros, one of our partners out at Oklahoma State with the Holiday family, they did like a holiday home run derby. I'll send you some video of it that we have on the Rapsodo. But yeah, the whole time he's kind of just standing there on one leg and then he just kind of goes into it. It was pretty interesting to watch. But yeah,
Okay. Yeah, you
we'll
guys,
send,
if you can find that, send that to me, please. I want to see
yeah,
that.
for sure.
That's one of my favorite drills to use with players, so that they can get, like, I like to have them start their hands here, right? As they're doing this drill, they're here,
Yep.
right? And then they come forward and relax into this position, so that the hands are working away from each other, because there is an inverse relationship. The front foot and the hands have an inverse relationship, meaning a lot of hitters, as the foot's going up, the hands work down a little bit, and then as the foot starts to descend, the hands come up a little bit. But it just depends on the guy. Not everybody swings the same, but yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. No, that's very interesting, but great insight. I love that kind of tip for the younger hitters. Moving kind of your playing career that you had in the MLB. I guess like technology was kind of fairly new then. Did you use technology kind of when you were playing?
I did, especially towards the end, and I wish that the information that I know now that has come about the last 10 years was accessible to me when I was younger. It would have helped me. That being said, there's also a ton of information, and there's a lot of misinformation out there. So it could be information overload or somebody applying the wrong information. But I'm a great person to ask that question to, because I got drafted in 2008. There were still a lot of teams that were still pretty old school. I got called up in 2011, made my debut with the Pittsburgh Pirates. It's an awesome day, right? I mean, the year call-up day, you never forget that. And John Lester on the mound, Manny Ramirez in left field. But, the average starter was, I'd say, 89 to 92, 93. And since then, every year that I was up, it just crept up and up and up. In my last 5 years, most starters were over 94, 95. And their pitches have just gotten better. And that's because human beings haven't changed, but technology has changed our training methods, right? Human beings have not changed, but our training methods have. And our training methods have because of the technology that we've had accessible to us. It all started back, I remember in 2010, 11, 12, the Astros, my friends that got drafted by the Astros put them in bodysuits with all the little sensors around them and had them hit so they can see their kinematic sequencing on a screen. I didn't do that with the Pirates, and it's not a knock on the Pirates. They very well may do that now, but that was something that not a lot of teams were implementing at the time. And those teams that have implemented technology earlier than others have reaped the benefits of it. Like the Dodgers and the Astros have been using technology for years, a long time before other teams did. But yeah, you find things when you hook up elite players to something that shows their sequencing and body positioning and where their force is being produced with these mats that they have now that record force production and weight distribution. I mean, now you have absolutes. There are more commonalities that we are aware of now that elite hitters share, right? The guys that can hit 30 bombs and hit 300 still Like there are commonalities that they have. And so I'm all about focusing on those commonalities, right? Why do you need to focus on anything else? These are the things that they all do great. Let's focus on mastering these key movements. And so it's why you see so much great talent in the major leagues right now that are young, right? Just coming out, dropping bombs, throwing 100 miles an hour. It's crazy.
Yep. Yeah, and you kind of mentioned like there's the old school versus new school mentality, and I'm sure like when technology came along, what was the reception like to players? Was it, were people kind of hesitant? Did they hate it? Others adapted it? What did it kind of look like?
Depends on the team and depends on the player.
Yep.
100%. Yeah. Some organizations had people that were in the front office that weren't into it. We don't need that stuff. What about feel? Right? Like that guy's swing might not be perfect, but in the ninth inning, that's the guy that I want up to bat. And I get that. I can't help but to agree with them because you don't need a perfect swing. Have you seen Hunter Pence's swing when he's on deck? I mean, and that guy is super clutch. And even Jeter, his swing wasn't perfect. Very few players I think have like a perfect swing every single time. Like Jeter was more of an inside out guy. Like he could do amazing things with a fastball inside. Like he could take an inside fastball and drive it off the wall in right center. Like it allowed him to do other things. But some people are more resistant to it, but nowadays technology is undeniable. Those commonalities that we were talking about, I think that teams have started to implement a lot of the same things. And so you're seeing the playing field even a bit nowadays. But yeah, I think that there's still a place for old school stuff. I mean, you see some teams take out pitchers during questionable times in games because of data. That's just going to keep happening, right? Like the more the time that passes, the game's going to evolve. Bases are larger now. A pitcher can only pick off 3 times. We have the pitch clock now. Some people hate it. Some people love it. I'd rather not get emotionally attached to it myself and just take it for what it is and adapt.
Yep. Yeah, I'll come back to the pitch clock there for a second, but in terms of maybe there's a coach out there or an instructor who is hesitant about incorporating technology and Rapsodo into their player development programs, whether it's, maybe they're just anti-technology or maybe they're hesitant, at the learning curve or, how difficult it might be to understand the data. What would you recommend to them on why they should kind of incorporate that into their programs?
What player doesn't want to know that he's getting better? I can't play games in the facility, right? I mean, we can because of technology, right? We can gamify things and see where the ball goes. But how else are you going to track how hard a ball is hit? I can't, with my naked eye, tell a player how hard he just hit a ball. Like I need technology to tell me how hard he hit it. And if I can get even more information, right? His average launch angle to make sure that he's hitting it at the optimal angle where he'll get more hits, right? You don't want it to be over 30 degrees. I mean, you can hit a home run with the ball hit over 30 degrees, but that's rare. But in a perfect world, a player would just hit everything about 12 degrees. Then they're gonna hit like 500 if they do that. But I think that technology is important, and you're able to track players. You need to be able to do that to show players that they're getting better. I will say that there are some coaches that are scared of it, like for different reasons. Like I know there are some coaches out there that might be weary of it because what if they work with a player and based on the metrics, he's not hitting the ball harder? It means that you're not doing your job right. There are some coaches out there that are afraid of that. Maybe they're doubting their own skills. Maybe they're afraid to use it because player A is gonna and B are gonna come on day 1, and then 40 days later, player A and B come back, and it shows the same thing without any improvement. So I get that, but if you're confident in yourself and you want to prove to players that they're getting better, use the technology to prove it to them.
Yep. And I know you're still fairly new with the facility and using the product, but do you see any benefits with Rapsodo and kind of helping players get recruited in their kind of recruiting journey?
Yeah, I mean, one thing that we haven't done this yet, wouldn't be. I guess we do. Yeah, we post live ABs. so that we can, it's a way that we can promote players, showing them do great things, showing pitchers shove, showing hitters hit homers in the cage. But yeah, like if you, let's say we had a player profile and we tracked it over time, over 3 months during live ABs, it'll show all of his averages, which is average launch angle, his average velocity off the bat, depth contact. There's so much information that a college coach that is familiar with that data would like to see. So if we can track that stuff and provide that to them, they might not be a starter. Maybe they're at a high school where it's a logjam. It's a junior that has a senior starting in front of them, and there's no place to show people how good he is, right? He can come do lives at our place. We can track him, and then he can share that Rapsodo data with a coach. I mean, that happens a lot throughout the country at more competitive schools, but that's just one example of how it could be used.
Yep, love that. Um, so these might be different, could be the same. For younger players, what advice would you have for kind of aspiring younger baseball players looking to improve their skills?
This isn't a physical thing, but surrounding yourself with the right people is extremely important. We don't get to choose our teammates, right? And a lot of us, when we're young, we're impressionable and we just want to feel like we belong to the tribe, to the team, and that we're accepted. And so what I see happen in young players, and when I say young, I'm talking, ages 8 through high school even, is that they just happen to latch on to the wrong guy, look up to the wrong person who's not a great role model, that doesn't work hard, that may be jealous of them and their abilities, and who doesn't make them better as a baseball player. That doesn't help at all. Hang out with the better baseball players that love playing the game, that are accepting and encouraging, and you'll find yourself in a better spot months from then, right? Like who you spend your time with is very important. And there are certain people on your team that make you feel good, certain ones that don't make you feel good. In a perfect world, you just have an amazing team where everybody's encouraging and everybody pulls each other. But hang out with the guys that love the game, that want to keep getting better. A physical one that I like to teach players is I, I just can't stress enough the importance of a routine that you have. When I was with the Red Sox, about half the team had the same routine. Whether it was off of a tee or flips, they would focus on their one-hand bat drills, right? Because as a baseball player, we're playing every day, and we have we don't want to chase a feeling, right? I don't trust my feels. I trust what I see. Like if I can square up a ball with doing a bottom hand drill over and over again, like okay, got that. All right, ready to go. My left hand is calibrated for the day. And then this one come in top hand, boom, like I keep rolling over. That means I need to make sure I'm following through, keep my palm up the whole time. It makes me make an adjustment to be able to do what I need to do to hit line drives with just my top hand. And then I bring them together and they're working properly. And I do this all, I like doing it all from a no stride position so that I had that connection to the ground already. I wouldn't lift my heel up. I kept my heel down and I wanted to stay 50-50 with my weight distribution. And I'd do those drills and then I would incorporate my stride. That was at the end of my career. I wish I did that even sooner. But more than half the Red Sox did that while I was there. We had like Mookie, Benintendi. That was the 2017 Red Sox. And that was a great hitting team, very talented. But yeah, have a routine and do it as often as you can. It's important. I would do it before all my games.
And was that like a team thing? Was that a hitting coach that incorporated that? Were players just doing that on their own and everyone just kind of picked up? How'd that kind of start?
That's a good question. It's not something that they told us all to do. At the major league level, they players at that point in time, like at that point of their career, they know what they need to do and they all have their own individual routines. It just happened to be a squad that I noticed, like, well, a lot of these guys do the top hand and bottom hand drills first, right, when they get in the cage. It makes sense, right? Like you're basically calibrating. It's like if you're a hunter,
Yeah.
you're gonna check your scope. It's the same thing. You want to make sure that you're firing and that your swing is sharp. Like one of my favorite hitting coaches, name's Craig Wallenbrock. He liked, like you could be the most confident guy in the world, right? And walk up to the plate, but if your swing's terrible, you're going up there with a butter knife. The better your swing is, the better knife that you have to cook with. You want to go up there with a master chef knife, right? That's the way he liked comparing it to cooking. But yeah.
Yeah, I love that. That's a great analogy. And so I don't know if this next question kind of was already answered, but what about a younger or advice for a younger Chase in his career? What would you give, you know, advice to your younger self?
Seek mentors early, like I did in the middle and later in my career. But my off seasons, I came back home and I hit at my high school. I hit at colleges nearby, and I worked out with my brother occasionally. But we had our routine. Like we weren't doing anything to search for new information. I wasn't around bona fide big league guys that had been there that I could watch work, right? Like if you want to get to the major league level, surround yourself with players that are there and watch what they do. You know, and there I was in the minor leagues, had just gotten drafted, and I spent my first 3 or 4 off seasons not in that environment. And then once I did, and I started working out with a group of guys that had been there before, I started learning so much stuff. And I had some mentors around me, and I did during the season too, right? But during the off season, I could have found it, but I wasn't looking. So if I could go back in time, I'd tell myself to go find a great workout group where you're going to be surrounded by guys that have been there before and that are having sustained success in the big leagues.
Awesome. Diving into just a few miscellaneous topics here to kind of wrap us up. First thing I wanted to kind of touch on was there's been a lot of discussion on like social media about this trend in recent arm injuries with pitchers. And that was kind of, I know the MLB PA kind of mentioned it could be the pitch clock. Some people say it's because of technology. Pitchers are now chasing velocity and spin rates more. Um, do you do you think this starts at a younger age, kind of this like the younger or the injuries with these pitchers' arms because they're getting overused, or what would you think is kind of like a factor to all that?
Well, yeah, first of all, and I say this as a position player,
Yeah.
I'm not a pitcher, right? So I don't know what it feels like to get out there and pitch with the pitch clock. I don't know what it feels like to throw max effort. To throw over 90 miles an hour takes a lot of effort, right? Like not everybody's, I don't know how tall Verlander is, 6'4", 6'5", and throws an easy 94, but he can hump it to 99 when he wants to. But I like what Verlander said recently in a video that I saw when he was asked the same question. And he said it was a number of things, but mainly that pitchers are going out there throwing as hard as they can. And now that technology has helped us find these training methods, it's a lot more taxing on our arms on the journey to throw 100 miles an hour, right? And I said earlier, human beings haven't changed, but our training methods have. So it's a combination of that. I think it's the training methods of what we're doing to throw that hard, keyed into also how hard we're throwing the ball on a consistent basis. Because, back in the day, you didn't need, players were still trying to throw hard, but, starters weren't told to go out there and throw 100 miles an hour, right? Throw below 100%, right? Throw below 100% so you can get deep into the game. There are a lot more complete games being thrown, and less injuries. So, when pitchers are throwing max effort every single pitch, it's going to be more taxing on your arm. But
Yep.
again, I'm a position player. I know my place. I don't have I do have 2 innings pitched in the show.
Okay.
And
How'd those go?
I throw up goose eggs, Matt. Goose
Oh,
eggs. I have a 0 ERA. I
love
gave
it.
up. I gave up a knock, but it's a blast when you go out there pitching. Your team's losing by a bunch when you're up there, but I had fun. I embraced it. I just was quick to the plate and threw my cutter a lot.
So yeah, with your new facility, you have a passion for film production, and in the new facility, you're kind of getting more into content creation with your Instagram and social media posts and all that you're doing over there. How's it been, kind of getting back into that passion of film production and kind of the rise in baseball content in general?
It's been a lot of fun. I do enjoy that stuff, and I took a little hiatus from it. But one thing that makes it a ton of fun is the guy that we have in house. His name's Cameron Bennett. He and I are buddies that met about 6 years ago. He's passionate about it. He has his own film production company. But now to have a buddy to do it with that has even more experience than I do. He has a pretty large team. take some of those tasks that I was spending a lot of time doing, like the editing. It takes a lot of time. It's very time consuming to shoot and edit a piece and a story tell. But it's been a blast being able to get back into the content creation and tell people stories, but also promote what it is that we do at the facility.
Yeah, and I guess give yourself a quick plug. Where can people find you on social media, and if they are interested in kind of checking out the facility?
Yeah, my our handle for the facility is Darno Athletics, DARNAUD Athletics. Baseballism has one as well. It's the Baseballism Academy. Um, Baseballism is a great brand. I mean, people could look them up on Instagram. They probably already follow them. And then Travis's handle is Travis Darno, and my personal one's Chase Darno.
And real quick before we let you go here, I appreciate all your time and everything. What got any hot takes for us for this MLB season? Who's your World Series matchup? Any Cy Young picks? What are you thinking?
Oh, the Braves are going to win.
Love it.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, you see that lineup? You see what they're doing right now? Every team's going to
Yep.
sustain some injuries here and there, but they've been in the mix, man. Them and the Dodgers have been there. I'm biased too. My brother's with the Braves, so yeah. But I
You gonna
think the
get
Braves
out?
are going to be in there.
You gonna get out to any games?
Yeah, I was just there for opening day. I was there for 2 days. Brought the whole family out, and my kids got to see their uncle hit a walk off.
That's awesome.
Braves opening day. It was incredible. Yeah, that was a really fun trip, and it was amazing. Got to hold my oldest up and watching Travis hit in the 10th inning, game on the line, guy on second base, bottom of the 10th, and then bam, double off the wall. It was awesome. It was really cool. Yeah,
How
got to cheer up and
how
wave to the kids from the field.
how old's your oldest?
6.
Okay, so he knew that Uncle Travis was at the plate and what was going on.
Yeah, he was aware, and so was our 4-year-old. We have 6, 4, and 2-year-old. So a 6-year-old and 4-year-old. 4-year-old, he's there. He knew what was going on. They've been wearing their giveaways this whole time. They have the this chain that has a big 1-3 on it, like an Acuna chain, and the big
Yes,
massive glasses that people are wearing nowadays. The Braves giveaway that has the Atlanta A right there on the bottom. They love it.
love it. And I'm sure they're big fans of Blooper.
Big fans of Blooper. You give them Blooper anything, they're gonna be stoked. Yeah, yeah, they love Bloop.
Awesome. All right, Chase. Well, hey, I appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us today, and we'll definitely get you on more webinars, more podcasts when we get that launched. And yeah, it's great being a partner with you.
Yeah, no, thank you. And we love our unit. We love our Rapsodo unit, and we're going to keep using it for years to come. So thank you for having me. This has been fun. Yeah.
Love it. Absolutely. All right, go check Chase out on the socials, and then also follow us on social media as well. And we'll be doing a lot more collaboration and some content creation together. And thanks again for following us, guys. Appreciate it.